let's get it done. So in this case, I want to make this video because I was recording an invisible video, and I was talking about how short the action scenes are, and that just remind me of another point of this whole comic book versus manga debate that no one talks about, because you know what time it is. We're not being trying to be genuine here. We're trying to be disingenuous. We gotta lie. If you're already correct, you have no reason to lie, deceive, right? So in this case, why are comic book action scenes so short? Why does it only last for a few pages, if at that, and why do most fights conclude in one big heavy punch, right? And the reason for that is quite simple. Most comic book plots only last as long as the story needs them to be. Whereas manga, since it's week to week, they have a lot more time, a lot more chapters, and a lot more pages to explore the actual action in itself. This is why, like with the battle with the Red Hulk versus the Hulk, in the comic book, the Hulk was getting beat on for like 2 pages, and the fight ended in one shot. Why? Because the plot point wanted the Hulk to get stronger the madder he gets. So the one shot in the Red Hulk sure is short, but it helps out compared to manga. Have a lot more chapters to explore it, have more input from A-Bomb and Thor, who is also on the sideline. You have a lot more time to explore, because remember, a comic book is only roughly 22 to 24 pages. And that's not including advertising space in the book itself. Comic books aren't long. And on top of that, they're monthly. They're not weekly. They're not producing 20 pages a week. So if they were to do the same thing they do for manga in comic books, you're being inside a fight for 2 years. Remember, some fights in manga are over 100 pages. We're not even talking about Eppo length type stuff. So 100 pages, divide that by what? You spend 5 months in one fight? 5 months compared to just spending 1 month in a week inside manga? They can't do that. So since comic books are so heavily based on plot, there's a reason why you get the awesome double page spreads with the one shot, or the one laser beam, or the one uppercut, or the suplex, or the punch, or the power beam. There's a reason why they do that, because they gotta deal with limited time, limited space, and they gotta explain. Imagine you only got 5 issues to explain a story, and each one of them issues is 20 pages. Do you have time to dedicate to a full fight, or do you only let the plot dictate how long the fight lasts? Now you understand? For those people who don't understand why comic books is the way it is, I guess I'm that channel to explain things for you. That's why. So that's why you get some more independent stuff. You can have fights go on for like 20 pages, 50 pages. Even one of my fights, I got over fighting, and the fight's still not over. I still gotta finish. So the plot dictates how long it has to go. Sometimes it's only a miniseries. Sometimes the arc can only last for 2 issues. Well, you're going to lose 3 pages to one fight, or just make it 2 pages and use that extra place with some plot, with some explanation, or use it for an epilogue, or use it to set up something else. Absolute Batman is a perfect case. The fight with Bane lasted 1 issue, and most of that, half of that issue was flashback. That's not a subject. A decent portion was flashbacks, about 2 pages for Bane walking into the arena, so on and so on. That lasted 1 fight. Over, what, he showed issue 9? The fight ended in issue 15. Over what? 5 months of build up, it only lasts for 1 issue, and most of the fight is not even Batman directly fighting Bane. It's Batman in game versus game. Why is that? Because the plot dictates how long it lasts. It's a different medium, execution. Comic books come out monthly and have different writers, different people working on it. A manga creator will have assistants, an editor, and that's it. And they gotta produce 20 pages each week. This is why some of them suffer from a lack of sleep, bad backs, health problems, and everything. If you know what time it is, y'all don't care about them. You only care about the product they produce. That's why you don't want to do anything to help improve the life or anything like that. So it is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you lies to help boost up my own low self-esteem and try to pretend like I care about people when I know most people don't. So it is what it is. So it really comes down to different execution. That's the thing. A comic book artist can get a break. It can go for 4 months straight, have a guest artist working the next 3 issues. That means you have a whole month to just improve craft, to come up with character designs, discuss plot with the main writer. Because remember, a lot of manga artists write and draw And then you gotta do course corrections. And then if a manga editor tell you they don't like that page, you gotta get it sent back, redraw it again, and hopefully this time it'll turn out great. Comic books, you got one editor, and depending on how popular your name is, they let you do anything. Now, not 100% anything, but it lets you hold the reins yourself. Jim Lee has been working on apps like Batman Hush 2 for going on 8 to 10 months. Do you know how it took nearly a year for The Last Ronin to release? 5 issues, roughly 30 pages. Industry. Clown, you will be laughed at. So the industries are different. The execution of plots is different. Now, sure, you could argue that in the more independent book space, they have a lot more time, a lot more way to explain and do all these other things. Of course, independent. But you're talking about the big two, especially when they want to talk about Marvel, DC, Image, and Dark Horse, it's purely based on the plot. And I'm sick and tired of people acting like, well, people in America or in the West can't draw or they can't do fight scenes. Stop. Stop. Japan don't need your help to boost up their ego. They know how good they are by default. You add nothing, dummy, idiot. Because like I said before, how can you criticize something that you know nothing about? How do you demean something or say one's better that you know nothing about? You wouldn't even explain how economically is different. There's no such thing as selling a comic book value. Most comic books don't get volume sold. They don't. So you just can't wait till what 4 months down the line and it get put into a volume. Do you know how long it took for Chip to Darky's Avengers Twilight, which was a mini-series, to become a volume to be released on one set? It was over in about 5 months. It took like 3 months after that for it to become a volume. No, more than that. More than that. Yeah, it took more than that. Yeah, it took more than that. It took like roughly 6 to 8 months for it to become a volume. Yeah, it took more. I remember I wanted to buy something like that in like around August. I didn't think I had the money for it. So it'll take a whole lot longer time. So it's a different industry, different execution, limited time. For the people they hire to draw, if they had more time, or was working on a more hard schedule, it goes in different things. Comic book artists, the reason why they do a lot of work, you might have one artist working on 3 different things, because it's by per page and who you're working with. If Marvel cuts you a good deal, let's say $80 per page, 80 times 20 pages, and you pick up another each, you can make a decent life. But that's a lot of drawing though, but you can make a decent life. That if you get those wages. Some new person is going to hurt. So that's why if you ever wondered why a lot of comic book artists are like from Central or South America, especially like around Brazil, that's why. Marvel's not trying to pay that expensive money for certain artists unless it's a big series like Batman or Iron Man title, and they go for somebody cheaper or who it's a different industry, different execution. So remember, kids, do not believe in the bias or the lies. The truth will always matter more because you got 2 choices in life. It's whether you're going to be the king of the world or the king of the underground. And I'd rather be the king of the underground. The underground is where it's real at, the respect is true, and the heart is there. Compared to the king of the world, who'll be ridiculed, downsized, and it's not the same. It's not the same. But that pretty much explains to you the difference. And most people won't properly explain it to you. Whether it's classic comics or like current comics, it's just that's why the things are what they are. The fights only last as long as the plot needs them to. This is why you have a fight between Deathstroke and Batman. It will look nothing like that Arkham Origins intro or CGI trailer. Nothing. This is why some things are adapted 1-to-1 from DC animations. Other things are extended. But I don't know. That's why I always prefer, if I'm going to criticize something, it's going to be with truth. Because with truth, there's no need to lie. And since most people say the truth hurts, and if everybody was a part of a truthful society, why would the truth hurt? It would just be the truth, something you should be already aware of. Hey, look, man, it is what it is. But I hope I answered you guys' question. Why does comic book art or fights don't last long? It's because it only suits the plot. That's pretty much it. It suits the plot, and after the plot is done, everybody get to go home and hopefully get paid a proper wage. Outside of that, unless you want these American, well, Western comic book artists to be paid subpar wages, was another thing. We're not gonna get into how a lot of these publishing companies be taking out a whole lot of money, and all that merchandise you're buying is not going to the person you think it is. It's going straight to Shonen Jump, straight to Shueisha, and a lot of these manga creators aren't balling like you think they are, but it is what it is. Same thing with Marvel and DC back in the day. That's why Alan Moore got upset. That's why Frank Miller got upset. That's why Jeff Johns and many other creators are pushing their own books and industries and things like that. When you create these characters, all that merchandise and all that other stuff is going straight to Warner Bros. It's not going to your pocket. So, if you're going to criticize comic books, please know something about comic books. Like, if you're going to hate, be a real hater. Because even if you're a hater, why lie? The truth should be more than enough. Been over K, like, comment, subscribe, and peace.